When I first started seeing you, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to talk about what happened the first time I met you, what you did to me. But
Go ahead. I want to hear. Please.
well, let's touch on it. I met you and you was walking down 13th and you was like, hey, you was with someone and you had a trench on, and you flashed me, and I was and I was totally like freaked out because it was like you were so real. You understand what I'm saying? You was young and this and that, and it was just
A shocker.
a total shocker many years ago. But you know, when you started getting your work, I remember because like you was small. You was very small, extremely small. And then you started getting your work done. Your shape started coming in. And then like I remember you had came to this ball and you had all this body. You understand what I'm saying? And it was like, but it looked good though. It looked good because I remember it was like wow because you started walking sex siren for a little minute and stuff like that. Remember? So what were you first walking? Okay, what was the first house you've ever been in?
My first house I was in, I was a Prestige, Alvernian.
The starter house. Everybody.
Yes, Alvernian. And then
And where did you walk?
I walked in Butch Queen and Drag's Villas. Yes, Butch Queen and Drag's Villas.
And then what?
And then from Butch Queen and Drag Villas, from Film Queen Villas to Film Queen Junior Sex Siren. And then it was so much a controversy with Junior, they pushed us to seniors.
Right, because you had more body than I guess a particular junior did, right? So did you go from Prestige? What house did you go to?
From Prestige, I went to Excellence, I went to Gucci, I was the original mother of Roberto Cavalli.
Okay.
The original mother.
Oh, you was the original mother,
the
yeah.
original mother.
Right. And who was the mother after you? I was Aja.
May she rest in peace, Miss
Yes.
Aja.
Yeah, Miss
Yes.
Aja. Okay. So you started walking balls. So then what happened? So from Kelly, when you started going to Kima, what was that experience for you?
Well, it was so phenomenal going to Kima because I got instantaneous results, but at the same time, I could have slowed down. It's like, it's so conflicting because I have my moments where I'm satisfied. I'm content.
Being real. You're being real right now.
Yeah, I have my moments where I'm content, but there are touch-ups. I know that I need some touch-ups. You know, but I have moments where I am content, but then there are moments where the public and other people's perception will say, well, bitch, that's too much. That's this and that, that's that.
But for you, is it too much?
No, I can carry it. I can carry it very well. I just want
You just made me think that. I remember people would say that Kelly would say that stuff like she could carry it,
Yes,
like carry it.
Yes, I have a big back. My back is big enough so I can carry it. It's wide enough so I can carry that ass.
Do you regret going to Kima at all?
No, I don't regret it at all.
Okay.
I don't at all.
Because there's just girls I've heard that have regretted going
that's
to Kima.
unfortunate because
Right.
you know, there's that void.
You probably are few of the lucky ones that went to Kima. Because there's some girls that have gone to Kima and had great results, to be honest with you.
Yes.
So I think it depends on the person.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think everyone is for everyone. Everybody. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So what year would you say now after you started getting all of your work and stuff done? What would you say? What year was that?
I got my work done around 2002. Everything,
Right.
Yeah, I rushed it. So 1 year I had everything done. Yes.
Did you have any face work done?
Yes, Kelly did all the face.
I mean, what about any other surgery that you had done?
Yeah, Dr. Lazarone, he did the nose.
Mexico.
Lazarone,
Okay.
Dr. Lazarone. And I'm gonna go back to him.
You going back?
Yeah, because I have to have him. I want him to touch me. He's the only one that will let touch me. Yes.
Okay. So Samantha, so now 2002, you're starting to get your work done and everything like that. What were you doing in Philadelphia at that time? What were you doing as far as taking care of yourself?
Well, I was in school. I was at the Community College of Philadelphia. Right. And then, of course, I was doing ads, hustling on, working, escorting on the side. I was doing ads, and I was in college, and I was working at a funeral home.
Right, that's what I want to go to, because I remember that time, it was like, I remember the girls were saying, Samantha, I've always heard about you, that you're extremely intelligent.
Yes.
Always heard that.
Yes.
And you was going to school to be a mortician?
Yes.
What were you going to...
Yes.
First off, what made you choose that of all professions to do that?
Well, I've experienced so much death and throughout my lifetime, so I have the compassion for death and dying. And I just have a heart for it. I just have a calling for it from God. So I know that that's my call.
So what was the process when you first started going to school to be a mortician?
Oh, well, the process? Well, my process, I always had fantasies about funeral homes. I would ride around from funeral home to funeral home. Me and my girlfriend, me and Jimmy, we would go to different funeral homes. We would go in the back and look at the bodies. And it's just, go to every funeral, try to go to different funerals, just sitting on people we didn't even know, sitting on their funerals. We would go to the funeral home at any given time and just walk in the back and just want to see the bodies. Just want to see what it looked like. And from that point on, it just got so fascinating. I said, you know what, I want to go to school. And then dealing with my girlfriend's passing. And I think one who prepared me very well was Twizzler.
Okay.
She prepared me very well for that. And, you know.
SILICONE, for those that don't know.
Yes, SILICONE. Before she passed away, you know, I helped prepare her for her transition, and she helped prepare me for mine too, for education.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, she made sure, you know, she was with me in high school, and you know, from high school to college. And I remember right before she passed on, she came up to the campus with me, and she said, "Girl, you can do it. I'm so proud of you. I pray that you graduate and do the right thing." Not knowing that I didn't know that like 2 weeks later she had passed. That was the last time I had seen her.
Really?
Yeah, I got a call and she had went on home. She had passed. So it was guidance to me.
When you talk about, you know, all this death, and you know, a lot of people, I feel like in this life, when they talk about death, some of them, it's a very, I don't want to say a numb experience.
Yes.
I don't know what you mean, but a very like almost. Are you used to death?
Yes. Yes, I am, because I that's my field, my line of work. So I kind of like wait for death. You know, I'm not happy until I see it, because that's part of the job. So, you know, it sounds morbid, but that's what funeral directors wait for. They wait for death. They wait for bodies. And the more the merrier. You know, the more the better the business is.
Do you feel like when a lot of the girls pass, that they get treated fairly in death, or they're respected in death? Do you understand what I mean?
It's a very controversial process for us, being transgender. Very controversial. Some families are very ignorant.
Meaning?
Meaning they would disrespect a person's lifestyle. You know, I've lived my life as a woman. Some people might take me out of my womanhood and bury me as a male. And that's very...
Just for their family, just for their
justification,
right.
Their satisfaction, which is horrible. Yes.
So, okay, so when you was in school, how much schooling did you actually get? Did you able to finish? Like, what was the process?
You know what? I got up until I have 2 semesters to go, and I'll be graduating. I got up until then, and I started drinking the cocaine, and then from cocaine up to crack cocaine.
Oh, we're going a little too fast. Okay, so you was doing the schooling. So, okay, yeah, we can go into that. When did you start getting into drugs? What happened?
Oh, wow. I started in school, in college. I started going to campus parties, from campus parties to East Stroudsburg to Kutztown University, and then eventually to Penn State University, up in State College. And that's where I got introduced into cocaine. You know, it started snorting.
So cocaine was the first like drug?
Cocaine, yeah. I was so addicted to cocaine. I would call, Tony would meet me up on the campus. I would pay him to come up and make deliveries to me at my dorm room. That's how addicted I was to the cocaine.
So what was the thrill for cocaine for you at that time?
Well, for me, it was a rush, and I was making money was not my issue. I was making tons of money. I had free room and board. You know, it was being paid off my grants, and so I was getting SSI and Social Security, and then I was turning tricks. So I had a lot of money, and then cocaine.
You was making coins down.
I was making coins down, but basically making coins down. Then cocaine came introduced, and it became my best girlfriend. You know, because it just kept me up for the dates, for the tricks. It just kept me up for the functions.
So at that time, when you started doing cocaine, you know, obviously you had your work done and stuff already.
Yes.
Did it at any time at that time affect your look at all, or did you look?
Of course. Oh yes. Oh yes. Not initially. Initially it didn't. But as the time went on, it took a toll. It was taking a toll. And I hit rock bottom when I moved to Los Angeles.
Okay, so let's start that next segment.